So my constitution is Vata Pitta, which means, and I'm 50-50 whenever I do my dosha quiz. But that's my prakriti, my inherent nature. So these are the characteristics that we are born with that tend to be lifelong. If we experience a trauma or a life-changing experience, then that can shift our prakriti, our inherent nature can shift. But it's usually a very large trauma that we've experienced that will shift our nature. On the whole, our prakriti tends to stay the same throughout life. And what happens is we might veer away or towards our prakriti, our inherent nature, our dosha. So we can have one very dominant dosha. We can be bidoshic, so have two dominant doshas. And more rarely, we can be tridoshic, where we have an equal balance of the three doshas. On the whole, most people have one dominant dosha, and some people can be bidoshic, where it's an even balance between two doshas. Your vikriti is what shows up daily, and that can be a response or a reaction to the environment, the seasons, your diet, lifestyle stresses. And that daily way that you are in harmony or balance can be shifted out of balance. So what you might find is that your dominant dosha becomes really excessive, or it becomes very deficit and depleted, so that you don't feel as if you're with the flow of life. You don't feel in harmony. So our practice is really to help us think about how we can pacify or balance our dosha. So we have three practices and three doshas: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Some people have asked me the question that, well, if I'm one dosha, should I be doing a practice that's designed to pacify or balance another dosha? Yes, because we all have all of the elements in us. We're made up of 5 elements, and we will have Kapha in our element. So even though I'm Vata Pitta, I still have Kapha. It's very, very small, and it doesn't affect the way that I move through life or my characteristics. So, but if I'm feeling, there will be days when I'm feeling a little bit more kind of relaxed or passive or lethargic. That doesn't mean that my Kapha dosha is like stirring and doing its thing. And I might really feel that, and I might need that because my Pitta and Vata are too high, so I need to come back down into my Kapha dosha. So we actually try and bring up these doshas that are in kind of like in recess, or kind of like less influential, because they will help balance the more dominant doshas. So it's always good to do all of the practice, but sometimes you might need one type of practice more than another type of practice. Thank you for bearing with me during my little mini lecture. Let's come into our Sukhasana, comfortable seats. So today's practice is Pitta Pacifying. So we're going to be cultivating qualities of cooling. The element of water is what we'll be connecting with. Element of earth to help ground us. And stop us kind of like fanning the flames of the fire. So air and space can fan the flames of fire. Water can help cool, and the earth element can help douse the fire. So that's the practice we're going to. So we're actually bringing in Kapha-like practice in order to cool the Pitta element, the Pitta dosha, that fiery element in Pitta. Let's bring our palms to our knees. And what I'm going to invite you to today, the mudra we're going to use is called Pitta Pacifying gesture, Pitta Pacifying mudra. Taking your thumb, and remember the thumb connects the element of fire, and placing it between the ring and the little finger, in that web between the ring and little finger. So the ring finger is the element of water. Now the ring finger is the element of earth, and the little finger is the element of water. So we're placing the fire between water and earth. And that will pacify this dominant Pitta dosha. Closing your eyes or gazing down, entering into a state of cool darkness. So just as we draw the blinds on a hot sunny day to create a cool temperature, closing our eyes. And let's observe the breath. And I invite you to notice the coolness of the breath as you inhale through your nose. And allow this cool breath to travel the length of your spine, down towards the root. Allow your belly to expand, ribs to open, chest to rise with this cool air. And as you exhale, consciously release the heat with your breath. So exhaling the heat from your belly by drawing your navel back towards the spine. Ribs curl, chest falls. Notice the warmth of the air that you exhale, releasing the heat. Inhaling cool air. Exhaling warm air. Inhaling a sense of lightness, crispy freshness. Exhaling the warm, heating, darker energy. Inhale coolness, exhale heat. Inhale, perhaps you visualize the color blue. Exhale, the color red. Inhaling this cool blue. Exhaling warm red. Three more breaths like this. And then releasing your Pitta Pacifying Mudra. Bring your palms together at your heart center in Namaskar. Opening our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale fully through your nose. Exhale completely through open mouth to release the breath and discharge the energy. Inhale to prepare. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Hands to your eyebrow center. Namaste and welcome everyone. So let's move today with intention to cultivate coolness, fluidity, meditating on that quality of water, Jal element. And remember, you can bring this Pitta Pacifying Mudra, placing your thumb between the ring and little finger at any time. Let's place our right fingertips on the earth. So create lots of space between the palm and the earth there. Inhale, reach up with your left arm. exhale over to the right. So we're going to be bending and folding in different directions. We're working to release the heat from the navel and solar plexus area, where the element of Agni or fire sits at the Manipur chakra. Inhale through center, bringing your left fingertips to the earth, reach up to create height, and exhale over to the left. And the breath that we were working with in practice, Pitta practice 1, Sitali or Sitgari pranayam, the breath through the rolled tongue. Let's move one more time over to the right. So Sitali is through the curled tongue, where you poke out the tongue and roll up the edges so that you create a funnel. And inhaling along that funnel, drawing the cool end in, can bring a sense of coolness to the mouth. And then to exhale, we close the mouth and breathe out through the nose. If you find that breathing, rolling up your tongue is not something that you are able to do, then we gently part our teeth and make a hissing sound, breathing in the air, allowing it to sort of pass across the gums and through the teeth into our mouth. And then again, we close our mouth and breathe out through our nose. So Sitali is through curled tongue. Sitgari is through gently parted teeth. Now let's come back to central. Spin around, taking the right hand behind, and again, fingertips on the earth. Gazing over your right shoulder, seated twist. So using your breath through curled tongue or through teeth. My dog doesn't like it when I do Sitgari or Sitali breath. So if you hear my dog growling at me, it's because they don't like the breath. Probably a bit like making them feel a bit hot, but you know how dogs pant. One more breath, inhale through center, exhale over to the left. And again, you can use your breath, Sitgari or Sitali. Inhale to center. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. Let's create space here between our legs, Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Lengthen to create height. And as you exhale, fold forward. Allow your neck and shoulders to soften. Your head can feel heavy here. And again, I'm using my breath. I alternate between Sitali and Sitgari. You can choose to stay with one or the other. Inhale to lift your gaze, coming back up. Now let's swing our legs around and come onto our knees and shins. We're going to start off in Virasana, hero pose. Grounding through your ankles here. Now, if your ankles and feet feel really uncomfortable, roll up a blanket and place a blanket underneath your the inside of your ankles. And that can protect the inside of your ankles from the hardness of the earth. Lengthen through your spine. Let's reach up with our hands. I invite you to bring your mudra here, Pitta Pacifying mudra, thumb between ring and little finger. Exhaling, hinge forward to come into child's pose. Eyebrow center resting on the earth or hovering above the earth gently.
One breath here. Inhaling, press into your palms. Weave your crown through your arms to shift forward into Cobra. Bhujangasana. Exhaling, again pressing into the palms, lifting up into table. Take a moment here. And then lift your tailbone, lift your gaze. Cat Madhyasana. Exhaling, rounding through the shoulders, Vitlayasana, cow pose. And then let's melt the sit bones back towards the heel, coming back into child's pose. Engage, inhale to rise up, Virasana. Exhale, hands to your heart. So it's one whole cycle. We're going to move through that 3 times. And again, use your breath to guide you forward, to lift you back up and bring you back to Virasana. Using your Sitali or Sitkari breath or Ujjayi breath if you're familiar with ocean sounding breath, that breath at the back of the throat. So maybe we'll practice that now if you want to be reminded of it. Ujjayi breath is you close your mouth. And as you breathe in through your nose, you take the breath to the back of your throat so that you make there's a sort of sound, like a whoosh sound. So if you practice like fogging up a mirror, making that ha sound, we're making that sound with we breathing through our nose. So you sound like Darth Vader. The breath is at the back of the throat. Ocean sounding breath. When you put a seashell to your ear and you can hear the ocean, that's the sound we want to hear at the back of our throat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward into child's pose. Weave your crown through into Cobra. Exhale into table. Lift your tailbone. Inhale to shine. Lift your gaze. Exhale, Vitlayasana. And then melt your sit bones back towards your heels. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time. Inhale to lift your arms. Exhale to fold towards the earth. Inhale, Cobra. Exhaling, then lifting into table on the in-breath. Inhale, cat, Madhyasana. Exhale, Vitlayasana. Melt your sit bones back towards your heels. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautifully fluid movement. Pitta characters are fiery, active, dynamic people. When they're in the room, their presence can feel dominating, forceful. They have a real presence. They are natural leaders. They have an authority, a natural authority about them. So what we want to invite in is a softness, a vulnerability, so that our hard edges can soften. We still retain our power, but it's a softer form of power. Let's bring our hands to the earth. Tuck your toes, lift your tailbone into mountain. Pedal your feet here, sway your hips from left to right. Rest for a moment here in Mountain Parvatasana. Check that the insides of your elbows are facing forward. Your feet can be wide. Have a soft bend in your knees. You can always have a blanket or a block underneath your heels. Inhaling. Let's shift our weight forward to come into plank. Exhale back into mountain Parvatasana. Inhale, plank. Exhale, mountain. One more time. Inhale, plank. Exhale, mountain. Reach up with your right foot, bending into your knee. Let's take that right foot to the outside of the right hand so that you come into dragon here. So that right foot is the outside of the right hand, left knee is lifted. Just here for a moment. And then we're going to shift the right hand to the outside of the right foot and shuffle the right foot towards the middle of the mat. Drop your left knee here. Untuck your toe. Inhale, arms rise up. Anjaneyasana. One breath here. Exhale, hands to the earth. Tuck your left toes and step forward with your left foot to your right. Unfurl your spine slowly when you arrive here. And then take a moment here in standing. So at the top of your mat, standing here in forward fold. Reach your palms up towards the sky. Take hold of your right wrist with your left fingers. Exhale over to the left. So lateral stretch over to the left. Inhale to center. Cross hands. Taking hold of your left wrist over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, hands in namaskar to your heart. And then continue to fold forward. So let's hinge at the waist here. Halfway first. And then travel all the way down by bending into your knees. Let's step back long with our right foot. Drop your right knee to the earth. Inhale, hands to sky. Anjaneyasana. So we're doing a variation of our flow, namaskar, and we're bringing in the element that connects to the moon Chandrasan, Chandra Namaskar. Now let's bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot and shuffle the left foot out slightly. So you're here in dragon. You have the option of lifting your right knee here. So you'll recognize that this kind of sequence we normally have in our Chandra Namaskar practice. Moon salutations, cool down the fiery practice that we normally have. Let's step back long with our left foot here. We're in plank. Exhale into mountain. Take a moment here. Back into plank. Make sure that your navel is drawing up towards your spine. Exhale, Parvatasana. Bring your knees to the earth. Untuck your toes. Bend into your elbows, chest and chin to the earth in Ashtangasana, 8-limbed pose. Lower your abdomen. And let's bring your elbows out to the sides of the mat. Place your hands on top of each other. Bring your eyebrows centered to rest on top of the backs of your hands. Makrasana, crocodile pose. Connect with either your Sitali or Sitkari breath, or if you're now using Ujjayi Pranayam, ocean sounding breath, yogi's choice. Find the breath that works for you. Three breaths here. I'm choosing Sitkari breath, hissing sound through my gently parted teeth.
Release your hands, bring them to either side of your shoulders. Inhale, lift your crown, shine your heart, Bhujangasana, Cobra. So visualize releasing heat through your Manipur, here, through your solar plexus. Exhale, lower to the earth, back into Makrasana, crocodile. Now we're going to move into locust Salabhasana pose. So take your arms alongside your body. Palms can be face down. Inhale, pressing into your hands, lift right leg off the earth. Keep your eyebrow center on the mat, on the earth. Perhaps you place a folded blanket in under your eyebrow center if it doesn't feel comfortable. Lower your right leg. Inhale, lift your left leg. Lower your left leg. Inhale, lift both legs. Lower your legs. And now we're going to add our arm option. So we're going to lift both legs and lift both arms off the earth. And if you choose, you can lift your eyebrow center this time or the next time. Inhale, lift your arms and legs off the earth. Reaching out through the ends of your fingers and toes. Exhale, lower. This time we're going to put all of it together. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you can choose to lift one leg and one arm and then alternate by lifting the other leg and arm. Yogi's choice. Inhale, lift arms, legs, eyebrow center, or just lift one side, one leg, one arm. One more breath. Exhale, lower. Come back into crocodile pose. Hands under your eyebrow center, Makrasana, and then soften all the way through your body. And perhaps you shake your hips from left to right here to release the lower back. Inhale, press into your hands. Rise into table, all the way back into child's pose. Let's take a wide-legged child's pose, knees as wide as the mat. Sit bone connected with your heels. Move your left hand to the center of the mat. And then let's thread our right arm underneath our left arm and bring your right ear and shoulder to the mat. You're coming into a twist here. Parivrita Balasana. Child's pose with a twist. Use a cooling breath. Sitali, Sitkari, or Ujjayi. I'm using ocean sounding breath here, Ujjayi. Slight constriction at the back of my throat. And then the sound of the breath is like the sound of the ocean. Inhale, turn your head back to center, release your right arm. Let's take the right arm forward towards the center of the mat and then thread the left arm underneath the right arm across your body here. And turn onto your left ear and left shoulder. So if you are a Pitta character, you tend to have qualities that are penetrating, sharp. Your intelligence is finely tuned. When you speak to convey a point clearly and succinctly. You speak with purpose. And then when that's out of balance, it can sound critical, harsh, judgmental. So to come back into balance, we again connect with our softness. the cooling element, the water. Inhale, let's come back to center. Come back with your hands towards your knees, moving into our heart opener. Again, we're focusing on our abdomen, so it will be a heart opener. Rise onto your knees, Ustrasana, camel pose. So although that's a traditional heart opener back bend, we're going to be really focusing on our solar plexus to release the heat, the fire. Option to tuck your toes. Another option is that you can always place your feet on a bolster or folded blankets. That will help lift your feet. Let's take your hands to your hips here. You can turn your fingers downwards and place the heels of your hands there, or you can keep your thumb and fingers wrapped around your waist. The yogi's choice. Whatever supports your lower back here. Begin to draw your shoulder blades together. As you draw your shoulder blades and elbows together, lift your gaze. Feel lengthening in the front body here. This might be enough for you. You also have the option of reaching for your heel with your right hand and with your left hand. Draw your shoulder blades together. Your hips and pelvis are reaching forward. Your gaze is towards the ceiling, the place where the ceiling and the wall meet. One more breath here in Ustrasana. And then ensuring you support your lower back as you come back. So place your hands on your lower back. Begin to come to neutral spine. And then let's continue all the way down with our crown. Moving into hair pose, Shashangasana. So you can take your hands and place them on the earth next to your head so that you're stabilizing there, or take your hands and wrap them around your heel. There's no weight on your crown here. This is to enable our spine to round, counterpose to Ustrasana. One more breath here. Hands on the earth. Inhale, let's tuck our toes, if not already, to rise into mountain. And then walk to the top of our mat by crisscrossing our legs. If you choose to jump, remember that might be your Pitta acting. So Pitta tends to be competitive. Inhale to unfurl your spine. Come to standing. Pittas are competitive. They're fiery. They are the people who get things done. And so you need a certain amount of firepower to transform and move and act. So they are balls of energy. And just as we know, a fireball, when it's out of control, out of balance, can sort of obliterate everybody in the path. So that's, again, the energy when it's constructed and positive, achieves and does. When it's out of power, out of balance and out of control, it can destroy. As we know, fire can give warmth, light, nourishment, but it can also destroy and devastate. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Turn to face the long length of your mat. Now we're going to do a little flow here across the length of our mat. And it's going to connect with Chandra Namaskar, the cooling energy of the moon. Inhale, arms reach up. Interlace all your fingers. Release your index, cross your thumbs. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale to center. Step across your mat. Open your arms into Tadasana, star pose. And again, you can bring your hands into your Pitta Pacifying Mudra. Toes are pointing forward. Weight is on the outer edges of your feet. Take a moment here. Turn your left toes so they point towards the top of the mat. Bend into that left knee. Coming into Warrior Two, Mahaviradrasana. Straighten through the left leg. Hinge your left arm forward. And then bring your left arm to the inside of your left leg. Right hand can come to your hips. Or your right arm can reach up to the sky above you. Coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. And remember, you can have a block for your left hand or a low footstool. One full breath here. Use your breath. Exhaling, let's bend into that left knee and bring the right hand to the earth. Maybe you shift your right foot slightly to come into pyramid pose. So again, have blocks or your footstool for your hands if your hands are some way from the earth. If you don't have blocks or a footstool available, you can always rest your hands on your left leg. Or you can bring your hands to your hips, yogi's choice. Purvottanasana, pyramid pose. We're going to twist here. So this right hand, take it to the outside of your left leg. This might be enough. Option for your left arm is to bring it to your left hip or take it up towards the sky. Revolved pyramid. Parivritta Purvottanasana. One breath here. Exhale, gaze down. Bring your left hand to the earth. Turn your toes to the front and walk your hands to the middle here. So you're coming into this wide-legged forward fold. Hands can stay connected with the earth. And again, if hands are some way from the earth, place them on blocks or a low footstool, or you can take your hands to your legs. Allow your crown, neck, and shoulders to feel heavy here. Your hands can be at your big toe, so peace fingers wrapped around your big toe. They can be on the earth underneath your head, so that your weight is really shifting forward, or you can have your hands on your legs. Yogi's choice. Experiment and see where you want to be. Now, you can probably feel the heat beginning to build up here. So let's see if you can notice when heat builds up and when heat dissipates. So let's walk our hands over towards the right, turn the right toes to the top of the mat, and let's come into pyramid here. So now you have a bit more space. You might feel the heat dissipating. Let's revolve here. So take the left hand to the outside of that right leg. Right hand can be on your hips or reaching up to the sky. Yogi's choice here. Not here for long. And then let's bring the right hand back towards the earth. Let's bring the right hand to the inside of that right leg. You might want to shift your left foot so it's in alignment with your right, coming into Trikonasana here. Draw the left arm across the right arm, the heart space to reach up, coming into your triangle pose here. Now, feel the difference that you've created this space for your abdomen. Now you might begin to feel some coolness. Pitta characters, where the Pitta dosha is strong, are full of compassion. They seek justice. They believe in fairness. Bend into your right knee. Inhale to rise up into Warrior Two, Mahaviradrasana. At their best, they are non-judgmental. They are collegiate. They work for the collective. One more breath here. Then turn the right toes forward, coming back into Tadasana, star pose. And I've got my Pitta Pacifying Mudra here. We're going to step over to the left. So bend into your knee if you need to take a big step across. Hands reach overhead. Interlace your fingers. Release your index. Cross your thumb. Left over right. Exhale over to the right. Chandrasana here. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Release your hands. Take a moment here. Let's practice our breath. So choose your breath. Sitali or Sikari. So Sitali is through curled tongue. So you create a funnel with your tongue and take the breath along the length of your tongue. Close your mouth and exhale through your nose. So you may make a funny sound because there'll be a little bit of saliva in your mouth. That's okay. Nobody can hear or see you. So continue like that if you can curl your tongue. If your tongue doesn't curl, then bring your teeth together, gently parted, so there's still a little bit of space, and then hiss through the gaps in your teeth. Close your mouth and exhale through your nose. So again, you might make some sound because you've got saliva in your mouth, but you can feel the coolness in your mouth, and it's worth making that funny sound for the coolness. So remember, Pittas, you are ambitious and fearless leaders and warriors. Your qualities of Rajas, that fire power, help to transform. One more breath here. And then we're going to move into our balance. So for our balance here, shift the weight into your right leg and then peel your left heel off the earth. Bend into your right knee and bring your right thigh so it's parallel to the earth here. Find something on the horizon, your drishti, that's not going to move. Your hands can be on your hips. Let's take your right hand to the outside of your left knee here. And as you do, spiral your heart over to the left. This left hand can stay at your waist, or you can reach behind you. Your gaze can be forward, to the side, or behind. Your drishti, follow your drishti, your gaze, whichever way feels comfortable and gives you balance. Spiraling here, a deep twist at your navel. One breath here. Now, option for yogis to explore. Perhaps you take hold of your right toe and extend your leg long. Now, this will depend on how long your arms are, how flexible your hamstrings are. So remember, stay where you are able to sustain the pose. And it might be something you're working on. One more breath here. And then let's turn our gaze back towards center, followed by our heart and hand, and release your foot to the earth. Shake out your legs if you need. And let's go the other way. So shift the weight now into your left leg. Sorry, I'm getting a bit dizzy. And then peel your right foot off the earth. Bring your right thigh so it's parallel to the earth. Take your left hand to the outside of your left knee. Right hand on your hip. Option to stay here. Or you can begin to turn your gaze and spiral your heart and bring your right arm to extend behind you. Gaze can be wherever feels most balanced and stable for you. If it makes you feel dizzy to take your gaze behind you, keep your gaze to the side or ahead. Again, you have the option of taking hold of your right big toe with your left peace fingers and extending your right leg. The yogi's choice. And when you're ready, let's release back to the earth by spiraling your gaze and your heart follows. I was a little less graceful, forgive me. Take a moment here. And we're nearly done, but not quite. We're going to come to the earth. Toes together or feet hip distance wide. Yogi's choice. Keep space between your heels, whichever option you go for. So if you look at me, you can see that I have a gap between my heels. Inhaling, hands at your heart space, lengthen through your crown. Exhaling, bend into your knees deeply, tailbone reaches back. Utkatasana, chair pose. We're going to move from here into drinking bird. So come onto the balls of your feet. Take a moment. And then exhale, release your heels back to the earth. Take a breath in. And then on the exhale, let's turn our gaze and hook our right elbow to the outside of our left leg. So at the knee or the thigh. Press your left palm into your right palm. Lift your left elbow. Parivritta Utkatasana. Twist in our chair. This is also called strong pose. And you'll know why, because it requires strength. Inhale, turn your gaze to center, hands back to center. Come back onto the balls of your feet. Drinking bird pose. Then release your heels. Let's go over to the left. Hook your left elbow over your right knee or right thigh. Press your right palm into your left palm. Right elbow is lifting towards the sky. Turn your gaze. One more full breath here. Ujjayi, perhaps. Turn your gaze to center, followed by your heart. Bring your hands to the earth, onto your knees. And here I invite you to circle your hips one way, then the other. Perhaps these circles can be large circles so that your sit bones come towards your heels. And then let's come onto our sit bones. And we're going to come directly onto our backs with our knees bent. Oh, what a lovely relief. From here, we're going to move into moving mountain. Mountain raises from the sea. So it's bridge pose variation. So we come into Setu Bandhasan, but we engage our arms here. So check that you're all set up with your feet flat on the earth, knees bent, fingers sort of tickling the back of your heels. As you inhale, begin to draw your navel back towards the spine and you feel your pelvic bowl tilting, peeling your tail off the earth, then your lower back and your middle back so that you come on towards your upper back and shoulders. Keep your hands on the earth for a moment. Exhale, reverse the motion. So upper back, middle back, and then the tail and lower back. This time as you inhale and lift your spine, your pelvis, your hip bones, take your right arm overhead. Exhaling, right arm arcs over through the sky and hand returns to the earth as your pelvis and hips do. Inhaling, lift, left arm, hips and pelvis, reaching overhead. Exhale, lowering the arm and sit bones back to the earth. This round, both arms come up together and reach overhead. Exhaling, arms arc through the air, sit bones, hips and pelvis and hands reconnect with the earth. Move like this one more time, inhaling right arm, then left arm, and then both arms, moving with your breath. As you move with your breath, repeat to yourself silently, my inner river flows with calming rhythms of nature. My inner river flows with calming rhythms of nature. My inner river flows with calming rhythms of nature. Know that as you are a strong-willed, determined, driven dosha. Apologies for the dog sounds, dog barking. From here, where you are in Setu Bandhasana on the earth, after having flowed through your mountain, let's bring your right ankle and cross it onto your left knee, creating this figure of 4. Turn the right knee out. And as you exhale, drop the right knee down towards the earth so that you come into this open supine twist, so that your right knee is reaching towards the earth. It may not connect with the earth. You can always place a blanket there, or you can just let it hover there. The left knee is also zigzagging towards that way. So you've sort of created this zigzag with your legs here. This is an open supine twist. Your gaze can be up towards the sky. Take a full breath here. And then on the in-breath, inhale to bring that knee back, figure of 4 for a moment, and then uncross that right ankle. And let's windshield wiper the knees one way, then the other, just for a moment. And now let's cross the left ankle onto the right knee. Turn the left knee away to create this figure of 4 shape. And then on the exhale, let's drop that left knee towards the earth, followed by the right knee. I am here behind my dog if you can't see my head. I think it's turned into a parrot sitting on my shoulder virtually. So I invite Pittas, where you have a dominant Pitta, or perhaps at a time when you're feeling irritable or angry, or your emotions are feeling inflamed, to come back to this Pitta pacifying practice. It brings in calming, more easeful, more of a letting go, permissive style to your practice. Inhaling, bring your knees back to center. Stay for a moment in figure of 4. And then release your ankle to the earth. Release the ankle and your foot to the earth. Windshield wiper your knees one way, then the other. And then for a moment, let's come into Shavasana. Arms extended, arms away from your body. Legs extended, feet away from each other. And let us lie here for a moment in our natural state, our prakriti. What we are born with, our inherent personality and characteristics. Connect with your true nature. And know that there's one thing that you can take away from this dosha series is that like increases like and opposite brings in balance. So whatever your natural tendency may be, seek the opposite to bring harmony. If you feel as if you are becoming out of sync, out of flow, out of balance. Inhaling. Inhaling, begin to bring some movement to your feet and toes, your fingers and hands. With the in-breath, stretch out through your arms and legs. With the out-breath, hug it all in. Then roll over onto your side. And when you're ready, rise up into your Sukhasana. You must be feeling a lot cooler. I have cooled down considerably since the start of my practice. Let's bring our hands into our mudra, so thumb between the web of the ring and little finger. Between earth and water element. So bringing that fire element, Agni between Jal and Prithvi. Closing your eyes if not already. Let's take 3 rounds of Sitali or Sitkari Pranayam, curled tongue or through the teeth. Inhaling through your mouth, exhaling through your nose. Hands together, closing our practice by chanting the Varun Gayatri mantra together. Om Jalimbai Vidmahi Nila Purashe Dhimahi Tanno Varuna Prachodayat Tanno Varuna Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hands to your eyebrow center. Dhanyavad. Thank you, yogis. What a class. These dogs were so naughty today. Barking, barking, barking. Especially when you're relaxing. So if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. So next week, our practice will be Kapha dosha, so the third dosha in the series. And what I'm going to do next Saturday, I'm going to have two practices. At 9 o'clock, I'm going to, no, let's do 9:30. 9:30, I'm going to do a half-hour workshop on filling out your dosha quiz and how to work out your dosha. So I'll do 30-minute dosha quiz workshop. And then we'll start our practice at 10 o'clock next Saturday. That's the best way of doing it. Because I know some of you are kind of not quite sure what your dosha is and how to fill out the quiz. So get in touch with me. If you haven't got your dosha quiz yet, it might have gone into your junk mail. So just check your junk or spam box. And then have your copy printed out so that we can work together, and we'll do a little bit of workshop. It won't be anything formal. It'll just be like us chatting and going through the quiz together. Dhanyavad, my yogis. Apologies for my doggies.